No one else was in the club room. William seemed to be deep in thought as he went toward the sofa. I followed him anxiously. William?
I'm sorry. I'm...
It's okay. I started to reach for his hand, but remembered the way he'd gotten upset the last time I did that. I pulled back awkwardly. You said you thought she was killed.
Destroyed is more accurate.
Is that even possible for a ghost?
I know it sounds strange, but it is possible, yes.
But how? I mean, ghosts aren't really alive? Or were they? If not all spirits were the souls of dead people lingering around, then how could I say that for certain? I mean, they might not be scientifically alive. I didn't really even know what all the requirements were to be classed as living, but they existed. They had thoughts, feelings.
Non-corporeal cryptics don't have physical bodies. It doesn't matter if it's a ghost or an elemental of some kind. But they do have, well, you can think of it as being like a core of energy. The ones that have a stronger core are able to materialize or interact with the real world.
Like some of the ones that hang around you. He nodded.
The ones with weaker cores can't usually show themselves, even to me. Usually I can just hear them. A lot of the ones that stick by me are like that too. The weakest ones I can only barely hear, but I can't understand them.
So... And this is just me making a guess, but if you can destroy that core, then that means they die, basically. Alright, let's read about ghost death. Let's see, ghost death, ghost death. Okay, that's all fairy stuff. Esper? Okay, we read that one. Must be this one. Non-corporeal cryptics have a core. It's basically like their heart. It's the center of all their thoughts and feelings. It's the thing that holds them together. A spirit with a weak core usually can't manifest well because its thoughts aren't strong enough to materialize into a more visible form. Spirits with stronger cores are the ones that can manifest as some sort of apparition, or affect the real world by moving objects and the like. For all ghosts, the core is a weak spot. Destroy that, and the ghost loses cohesion and ceases to exist.
The core is what holds their consciousness together. If you destroy it, they lose cohesion and fall apart.
Okay, so that's basically what we just read. You think that's what happened to the one at the entry and the one at the top of the stairs? He nodded. Why, though?
There's evidence they fell apart. I think the one at the front was dragged away, then destroyed.
How do you move an unmovable ghost and then destroy them? And why would you move them in the first place before destroying them? And what kind of powers do you have to destroy a ghost core? We talked about Guess earlier, and she said that she beat up a ghost with a wrench that was blessed by a priest. I don't know if that story's true, but that was the story we were told. I think we're gonna have to talk to Guess more about this. I raised an eyebrow at that. Ghost gore? I had no idea what that looked like, but it couldn't be pleasant. Probably ectoplasmy. He heard that.
It's not pleasant.
I gave him a long look when he said that. William. He did it again. It was kind of not really the topic at hand, but there was something I really needed to clear up. You know, I've been wondering this for a while, but you can read my thoughts, right? You should have just said so from the beginning, you goober. His eyes went wide and he suddenly looked away awkwardly. I mean, I'm not mad. I just sort of noticed it.
I don't read them exactly. I can hear them, though. Sometimes. I mean, frequently. You project. A lot. It's not uncommon. You do project a bit more than others. I try not to listen, but...
I'm noisy?
I wouldn't say it's noisy.
Mark would. It's okay. I get that a lot, actually.
I'm sorry.
For what? Overhearing what I'm apparently shouting at you? It's not your fault. I like that she's more understanding when it comes to William than Mark. She's like, why will you just stop reading my mind? With William, she's like, aw, sweet baby, he can't help that I'm shouting in his direction. Aw, poor William.
I mean, if you want, I can show you how to not project so much.
Really?
It's not hard. Telepathy is the one thing I'm good at.
I think you have a lot of hidden talents, sir. That's not true. I think you're good at a lot of things. He went red again. It's not like I was trying to embarrass him, but it was still sort of cute how easy it was to make him blush. And I must have projected that because I could have sworn he went a shade or two darker. Yeah, so if you want to help me with that. I mentally kicked myself. Stop thinking weird things. But the moment I started, I couldn't stop. Knowing he could hear me just made me hyper-aware of everything. Every random thought I'd had while in his vicinity. Oh no! Like sitting next to him in literature and thinking about needing to put my underwear away when I got home. That's so specific. Or listening to him read and thinking about what a nice voice he had. Well, thank you. Watching him turn the pages in his playbook and thinking about how he had such slender, pretty hands. Oh no. Gus, stop it! It was bad enough you already thought these things once around him, and now you're doing it again! William was shifting uncomfortably and turning an almost alarming shade of crimson as the random thoughts flooded my stupid head. My own face was heating up as I tried to rein in the crazy. I cleared my throat. Anyway, go score, am I right? So, what could be destroying the spirits here at school?
I don't know. There are some creatures that feed on them, so it's possible something dangerous washed in on the currents this year. The overflow would have started last week, though it won't peak until Samhain.
Okay. So there could be a creature that flowed in on the current. Something dangerous?
A drifter or something. But there could also be a person behind it, though I don't know who it would be.
Is there anything that can be done? I mean, once they've, lost cohesion, is that it?
I don't think there's a way to revive them.
That was kind of sad. I mean, who would go around destroying spirits like that? The ones that had already died once. Why should they have to go through something like that again? And those that were just sort of born as spirits, what even happened to them after they were destroyed? What do we do about it? I mean, to stop it from happening to the ones that are left. I know there are a lot of things lurking around. He looked at me with surprise. What is it?
I'm just surprised you think something should be done. Not everyone worries about them. Spirits, I mean. Most people don't really...
Well, even if they're spirits, even if they aren't human, they're still people, right? I mean, you said it yourself. They have a consciousness. If they have a consciousness, that makes them people. I think, therefore I am, and all that. William smiled, though a little sadly.
That's how I see it, too. Most people just don't feel that way about things they can't see.
Even other people in the club? He was silent for a moment.
Even other cryptics sometimes just see them as collections of energy, especially if they're not strong enough to manifest physically.
That just doesn't seem right to me. You can see them. That's a good indication that they're real. I can see a lot of things these days that I couldn't see before. It's not like I can just pretend they're not there.
I agree. It's just not often I find someone who feels that way.
So, what do we do about it? What? He was giving me that look again, like I'd surprised him. But when I asked about it, he just looked away again.
Nothing.
Somehow it looked like his face was a little red.
Maybe we should ask Gus.
Gus? She's Veles' partner, right?
And my mentor. She helps me with my telekinesis. She's kind of an exorcist, too. Of sorts.
An exorcist of sorts, William stood.
I think I'll go find her. I was supposed to meet her this morning anyway.
Is it okay if I come too? I kinda wanted to meet her anyway after what Allie had told me about her.
I don't mind.
Nice. I stood as well and, leaving my things by the sofa, joined William as he headed into the library. As always, I was impressed by how awesome that place was. Books everywhere and massive, looming silence. Not to mention, it was just beautiful. I could totally live here. Same. Yo, girl, you look exactly how I pictured you. Not gonna lie. Oh man, you look great. I love your design. Veles was behind the desk, as he usually was, and there was a woman I didn't know leaning on the desk chatting with him. That has to be her. She didn't look at all how I expected. Speak for yourself. Not really very agent-like. Rather, she just kind of had this totally normal look. Like someone you'd pass on the street and definitely never assume could beat up ghosts with a wrench. I mean, are you and I looking at the same person? I feel she could beat up a ghost with a wrench. She looked up when we entered and grinned at us from across the room.
Will, you're late, buddy. And who's your friend? Nora. Lewis. Oh, right, the new girl. Veles mentioned you. Some kind of fae, right?
Well, that's the theory.
Look at you, all cute and tiny.
My eye twitched slightly. I'm not tiny. I'm vertically challenged. She just laughed at the annoyance in my voice.
I'm Gus Monroe. Nice to meet you.
You too. I've heard a lot about you. William, are you okay? I feel like he's hearing thoughts from someone and it's just like, oh god.
Good things, I hope. Though, if not,
She shrugged. I did hear you beat up a ghost with a wrench. I mean, she teased us, so maybe we should tease her in turn? I shot her a slightly teasing grin. Well...
What? Someone actually said something bad about me? Who was it?
I'm afraid that's proprietary information right there.
You're quite cheeky for a newbie, aren't you?
I'm pretty cheeky no matter how well a person knows me. Guess just grinned at that.
I like her.
Good.
Though I wouldn't have picked someone like this for your type, William.
Poor William.
My type? No, I mean, that's not... We're not...
Veles is just like, teen drama again. Why must it be all the time with me and the teen drama? Gus immediately wrapped an arm around his neck, yanking him down to ruffle his hair. Oh, I want to ruffle William's hair.
What was that? Why are you turning so red?
William protested, but Gus was having none of it. I couldn't help but smile a little while watching them. It was so weird. Just watching him interact with someone like that, it was cute. He was definitely red, but he didn't seem to mind the teasing. Or at the very least, he seemed used to it. Though maybe that wasn't the right way to say it. He seemed comfortable with her. It was like all the walls came down and he was suddenly just a normal person. She was like a big sister. That's what I was thinking. Very much big sister energy. Teasing, bullying, but a little gentle as well. It was nice to see that someone could wrest that side of him out from wherever it usually hid. Somehow I felt a little jealous.
Yes. This is a library, if you'll remember, not a boxing ring. Right. We're probably disturbing all the people here researching.
She gestured grandly at the one other person that was there, a girl from our school. Shelly, I think? Yo, Shelly! Can you hook me up with some of that fairy bane, please? She didn't look at all bothered by the noise. She hadn't even looked up from the book. Veles just raised an eyebrow.
Fine.
She released William and leaned on the counter. William straightened his clothes and made a vain attempt at smoothing his tousled hair. Gus just chuckled slightly as she watched him.
So, what brings you here, Miss Fairy?
It's just Nora. And I was following William. I think he needed to talk to you. Gus glanced his way.
Talk to me? We were supposed to have an early morning lesson, but he didn't show. I assume there's a reason for that. Gus, there's something wrong. I mean, in the school.
Huh? Veles also perked at the moment William said that.
A problem? What sort? It's that some of the residents, the haunts, are missing. Missing? Not just missing. There were core remnants and remains. They were scattered and dragged. It looked like there might have been an attack. Something attacked some of the residents? Which ones? By the front entrance. 294 was gone.
294? I wondered what that was about. William shot a quick glance my way.
They don't... The ones that were never human don't always have names.
Gus looked my way as well, then back at William. She leaned her elbows on the desk.
A lot of non-human spirits don't even have concepts like name. The agency assigns a number just so we can keep track of them. Well, sometimes we name them too, since it's easier to remember.
Ah, makes sense.
Margaret is also gone.
I guess that's the one from the top of the stairs.
Whoa, seriously? There was a mess there as well. Well, shit. Gits. Oh, get over it. Man, Margaret's been there for just about forever. I can't believe she's gone.
Is there really not a way to, I don't know, revive them or something?
Revive a ghost? Yeah, no.
You don't have to say it like that. I knew it was a dumb question, but still.
What should we do? You should do nothing. We'll look into the situation. Thank you for informing us.
That's it? Just we'll look into it?
What exactly would you have us do, Miss Lewis? Sound the alarms and evacuate the school?
No, of course not. I just expected you to at least sound concerned.
Look, there are only two real options here. Something washed into town and is feeding on them. Or we've got some kind of fledgling exorcist running around the school taking them out for kicks. If it's the former, we'll find it and take care of it. But there's not much the two of you can do in that situation. Needs to be left to professionals and all that. And if it's the latter, we need to get their scrawny butt registered before they continue to go around expelling spirits. Which neither of you can handle either.
Get them registered and make them stop, I hope. She just shrugged at that. Which, I mean, it's not like humans had been attacked. And yet, they felt kind of dismissive. It annoyed me for some reason. Veles must have sensed that I was unhappy about it. He gave me a distressingly stern frown.
This is our job, Miss Lewis. You're aware of that, yes?
Yes. Yes, I am.
You two have other things to worry about. Especially you. Aren't you still just trying to adapt to all this? It's been what? A week?
Well, you're not wrong. I mean, I have been trying to adapt, yeah.
Then focus on doing that. Not a couple of missing ghosties.
Yeah. I'll try.
If I'm not mistaken, the first bell is going to ring quite soon. Perhaps the two of you should head to class.
Yeah, okay.
Just a sec. Will, why don't you stay for a minute and give us a few more details on what you saw? Oh, okay. I'll see you in literature, Nora.
Okay. I left him standing at the desk talking with Veles and Gus. The bell rang right as I entered the club room, and I ended up walking to literature alone. That's not sus at all. Alright. Chapter 3. Falling into Darkness. Cue the Kingdom Hearts music. Well, it's a bright sunny day for falling into darkness. It was such a nice day. Mom needed to run a few errands around town, and I'd gone with her. But uninterested in whatever mom thing she had to do, I decided to just wander around while she was busy. We'd agreed for her to pick me up when she was finished. I'd been going a touch stir-crazy since Allie insisted I not wander around the woods right now. But I'd figured wandering around the shops in town would be safe enough, as long as I don't run into Tree Lady. It was broad daylight, right? What could happen? Other than an apparently huge influx of shadowy and not so shadowy, but clearly not human, haunts deciding to lurk around and give me weird looks if I happened to be anywhere near them. I should have stayed with Mom. Then again, probably not. The first one of these things that popped out at me had caused a minor freakout, which startled two old ladies seated on a bench nearby. I played it off as me walking through a spider web, but yeah. Not keen on looking like a crazy person in front of my mom. Why are there so many of them today? I glanced surreptitiously over my shoulder at some of the shadows shambling around the sidewalk behind me. I'd definitely known there were some of them starting to lurk about. I'd been seeing them for days, but it was like someone had opened the floodgates. They were everywhere. Shuffling on the sidewalk, slithering up the lampposts, standing in the middle of the streets, idly watching the cars pass through their bodies. Guess it's that magic overflow thingy getting stronger. I couldn't get used to seeing the world like this. I kept rubbing at my eyes as if that would somehow get rid of the shadows. Though they weren't all shadowy. There were some that looked pretty solid but had weird features. Some that looked almost human, and others that made no sense whatsoever. They were jumbles of squiggles or things I couldn't see clearly even if I tried to focus on them. Others were dripping out of awnings or half-phased into walls. I dug my knuckles into my eyes again and sighed. I need a break. Ah, what a perfect place to go into. I headed for the nearest shop and pulled the door open, hoping inside would be less, well, just less. It wasn't until I saw the welcome sign that I realized it was The Murder, the cafe owned by Corvin's family. Okay, at least you're aware. Oh, it looks cozy. Different than I'd expected. Allie had mentioned it once or twice, not a whole lot really, but she had said it wasn't a normal cafe. Apparently his family were something like a paranormal information brokers? Or maybe think tank was a better description. They found information for people and solved problems within the paranormal community. For a price, of course. Looked like a normal cafe, though.
Nora!
Well, hello. Corvin, arms full of menus, bounded toward me from the other side of the cafe and probably fell down. Yep. His foot caught in the leg of a chair, not quite pushed fully under the table. His eyes went wide as he staggered toward me, arms flapping frantically as if that would save him. Menus went flying, and I just casually stepped out of his way because that was a disaster waiting to happen. You're not falling on me again, sir. That happened in your route. His feet crossed and he finally went down. He hit face first and laid there for a long moment. Everyone in the cafe was staring. I was just glad it wasn't all that busy. I awkwardly nudged him with my foot. Yo, you alive down there? You okay? He sat up, laughing slightly as he rubbed his face.
I'm fine.
You sure? I bent to help him retrieve some of the menus.
Oh hey, I can do that.
It's fine. It's weird watching you do it alone.
You're so nice.
I wouldn't go that far. I handed the menus to him and we both stood.
So, you're alone?
Yeah. I was just, out for a walk. Thought I'd stop in for a coffee.
Great plan. What do you want? It's on the house.
Hey, Corey! I thought we told you to stop offering free things to your friends!
But he's trying to get a date, Merle. I laughed as an unfamiliar guy strode right up behind Corvin and grabbed him by the ear.
Merle! Oh! 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 Let go! It's her first time here. I'm just trying to be nice.
Nice? Aren't you just trying to flirt?
Called it.
Oh!
I watched the two of them, not even trying to bite back the laugh at Corvin's expense. Corvin finally managed to get away, rubbing his ear as he made a face at the other man. So, Corey. Aw, he's blushing.
It's just a nickname. Don't laugh.
Oh, I'm not laughing.
You're definitely laughing.
The other guy, Merle, smiled at me.
So, you're a friend of Corey's.
Well, we're classmates.
I'm Core's older brother. Nice to meet you.
I looked between the two of them curiously as I took his hand. They looked absolutely nothing alike. Interesting. I'm Nora Lewis, and I'll pay for my coffee, don't worry.
Nah, this dork already offered it to you for free, so I'll feel bad if we charge you now. We'll just take it out of his paycheck.
Corvin gave me a pained smile.
It's worth it. So I'll be treating you to a coffee today.
I don't mind paying, really.
Nah, it's fine. My treat today.
What do you have?
A latte is fine.
Kaya, you want to ring those two up?
He nodded to two other customers behind me. I moved aside to let them up to the register.
Sure thing.
The blonde woman started taking care of the other customers while Merle got my coffee ready.
Corey, Aya was looking for you, so why don't you go see what he needed while I get this ready?
Okay.
He shot me a wave as he disappeared into the kitchen. I leaned on the counter and watched Merle prepare a latte for me.
So, I've never seen you before. New here?
Kind of. More like a returning old bee.
Oh, right. I remember now. Cor did mention a new girl at school. Joined that club they have there?
Which makes you the new fairy he goes to school with. Makes sense.
I flushed and looked around, feeling a little weird talking about it in the open. The other couple had already left, and there was no one close enough to overhear that, but it felt a little weird. It's kind of the lead theory now, but I haven't exactly taken the fairy litmus test yet, whatever that looks like.
Quick and dirty method is just to find some fairy bane and see if it interacts. If it does, you know you're fae. If not, well, you could still be fae depending on the situation, but given your magic aura, I'd say it's more than just a theory. You feel pretty fae to me.
Magic aura, huh? You sound like you know a lot about them. Fairies, I mean. She gave me a long, quiet look. It was decidedly uncomfortable being scrutinized by her. Merle stepped between us and slid my latte across the counter to me.
Here you are. And yes, Kaya knows a bit about the Fae.
You ever get really desperate to find out what you need to know, then you come here and we'll help you.
Well, when interacting with the this is weird. A lot of this is just, like, Nora interacting with other people without William being around. I'm like, can I die to the murder? A lot of my interactions with the murder have been like, yo, you guys aren't cheap though, so make sure I'm not selling my eternal soul to you or something. Well, I've been told you're not exactly cheap. And I need my kidneys, if you know what I mean. How did she even know I was looking for information about myself? I hadn't exactly shared that information. Merle snickered, then broke into a laugh.
I don't think we've ever requested organs yet.
First time for everything. My friend sort of hinted that you don't usually take money.
I've heard there's a black market out there for cryptic parts. So, we may need to look into that.
All the more reason for me to find the answers to my questions myself. Kaya caught my arm and gave me a long look.
Sometimes you can't find what you need unless you know someone who can look beneath the surface. Don't be so caught up in trying to figure things out on your own that you lose yourself completely.
What? I'll remember that.
I'll let you watch the counter, Merle.
She left us there and headed out to check on the tables. I watched her curiously. She was odd, for sure. Anyway, thanks for the coffee.
Thanks for stopping by. I hope to see you again sometime.
I'll pay for my own coffee next time. He grinned.
Be careful out there. Seems like it's getting rather crowded.
I will. I had a feeling he wasn't talking about normal humans when he said that. I waved and pushed the door open. Mom hadn't texted yet, so she must still be busy. Maybe I should just find a place to drink my coffee. The murder had a few tables outside, and I could see a few more at a shop maybe a block and a half down as well. Looks like a bakery? Yo, Ewan! I debated if I needed pastries or not. Well, maybe I'd suggest it to Mom and we get something for everyone. I looked around, trying to decide if there were any other shops I wanted to visit. I was contemplating a shop full of blown glass ornaments, but something across the street caught my eye. Well, not something. Someone. Two someones, actually. Gus and William? I took a sip of my coffee as I watched them. They didn't really look like they were just hanging out. They kind of seemed to be looking for something. Wonder what that's about. If it was just William, I'd go, but Gus made it very clear, like, yo, this is not your deal. Just focus on your own problems. So I'm like, I think she would just tell me pretty quick, get lost, and I don't want her influencing William, so I'm gonna drink my coffee. I decided to leave them alone, even though I was really curious. I figured they were up to one of two things. Something to do with William's lessons, or something to do with the missing residents. Either way, they probably wouldn't want to be interrupted. I can always ask William about it on Monday. That's a good idea. For the time being, I'd just leave them to do whatever they were doing. Instead, I went to find a quiet bench to sit on to enjoy my coffee and wait for Mom to find me. There was one about halfway between the bakery and the cafe. If I just closed my eyes, I could pretend the street wasn't full of creepy, non-human things. I tipped my head back, looking up at the clear sky. What would it have been like if we'd moved back several months ago, and I had been pulled into all of this at a different time of year? Would the impressions it made on me have been different? Currently, I was just leaning toward the whole thing being more frustrating than anything. Definitely not cool or anything like that. But a lot of that was due to the chaos caused by the upcoming overflow. And even then, as annoying as the creepy parts were, it wasn't like anything overtly horrible had happened. A shuffling noise next to me alerted me that someone else had joined me on the bench. I straightened, wondering if I needed to move over. When I looked next to me... Oh no! It's you again! Please don't smile, whatever you do, please. Oh, shoot. I quickly looked straight ahead, trying to ignore the shadowy guy next to me. Well, I didn't know if it was a guy per se. It might not even have a gender, for all I knew. Not the point, Nora! What does it want? Should I get up and move? Pretend I didn't see it? I'd never been so close to one of them before. I bounced my leg nervously and clutched my coffee cup tightly on my lap as it shuffled closer. Just don't look at it. Ah, this is so scary! It came closer again, and I heard a soft hissing whisper, though I couldn't make out what it was saying. Probably red. I was just about to bolt when someone spoke my name.
Nora?
Oh, thank goodness. Thank you. Can you guys tell Sir Shadow here? I think it's either Alfred or Albert. I can't remember. Can you tell him to leave, please? I breathed a massive sigh of relief when I saw William and Gus coming down the sidewalk toward me. I must have given them a panicked look because Gus immediately strode up to the bench and looked directly at my, neighbor.
Get lost.
Thank you. The shadow thing hissed at her. I edged away from it as she leaned down over the back of the bench.
Are you picking a fight with me?
Shadow Guy was silent. I hopped off the bench and sidled closer to William.
It's going to be okay.
Ah, the smile! No, go! Shoo! I'm so glad I didn't interrupt you guys, because now you're interrupting me at a great time. Shadow Guy turned his head suddenly, and a slow smile crept across his face. Oh, he Cheshire Cat'd me, okay. Then he simply faded away. Well, that was horrifying. Gus straightened and smoothed her shirt.
You alright then?
Yeah, sure. Totally fine.
What are you doing running about town alone?
My mom had some errands to run. I was just waiting for her to pick me up.
And getting into trouble, I see.
Hey, I wasn't doing anything. He just sat next to me and started being creepy. Gus just sighed.
Why don't you stay here with Nora, Will? I'll go check out the next location alone. But I can at least do that much on my own. Keep an eye on your little fairy friend.
She started jogging down the sidewalk.
I'll be right back!
And I never saw her again. And with that, she disappeared around the corner. William watched her quietly. I took a sip of my coffee, wondering what to do next. Hey, is everything okay?
I don't know.
That wasn't a very reassuring answer. Come on, man, talk to me. I can tell something's bothering you, William. Want to sit and talk about it?
Okay.
Aw, he does. The trust is starting to build. We sat on the bench together, and this time I kept an eye out in case the shadow thingy decided to return. So what are you and Gus up to today?
We're looking for whatever is destroying the local haunts.
Oh. Well, it wasn't the answer I was expecting, but I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. Isn't that what you said there was 2 options for what they were doing. That was one of them. So it wasn't just the 2 at the school? He shook his head.
Some others have gone missing too, around town. It was reported to the agency this morning.
That's why you're out here with Gus?
Yeah.
Have a lot of them gone missing?
They aren't missing, really. There are remnants of them left behind.
They were all destroyed then? All of them?
All the ones that were reported missing, we found evidence.
How many are we talking?
Close to a dozen already.
Damn. I'm so sorry. But why is she out here with you in the first place? I thought she said she and Veles would handle it. That's their job and all that.
I can see more clearly. Veles can only see this side vaguely. Gus is better, but
You can see it more clearly than either of them.
It's not just that. Finding the remains doesn't help locate the culprit. I can do psychometry on the locations. Well, I should be able to.
Psychometry? I had read about that before. I had not, so I'm very thankful you wrote this down for me, because inquiring minds would like to know. Psychometry is a type of psychic ability that allows a person to glean relevant information just by touching an object. Okay. The theory is that the information is transferred via psychic energy or psychic echo left behind by previous owners or events. How detailed the information gleaned depends a lot on the skill of the Esper doing the psychometry. Okay, so I am aware of this because of Star Wars. I guess Star Wars based, Force Echo off of psychometry. That's very interesting.
I haven't been able to see much this time. There are usually other agents who could do it, but they're busy with other cases.
So you got wrangled into helping?
I wasn't wrangled.
I raised an eyebrow. He quickly looked away, flushing slightly. He was totally wrangled. What's Gus bleh. What's Gus going? Where? Where's Gus going to check out? Oh, no, I guess it is what? Yeah, okay. Stop knocking your mic, girl. What's Gus going to check out?
There is a resident that haunts an alleyway ahead. We were going to go check on it next. Nora, you shouldn't be here. It might be dangerous. We don't know if whatever is doing this is still lurking around.
I'm not a ghost, you know.
I know, but we don't know why it's doing this.
I thought Gus said if it wasn't some kind of exorcist, then it was probably something that was eating them.
Well, I don't think that's it. An exorcist wouldn't have to destroy their cores like this to get rid of them, and there's too much left behind for it to be feeding. It seems like it's just destroying them. Gus is upset because it's only targeting the weaker ones, not some of the ones that are actually dangerous.
there are dangerous things haunting this town? I mean, obviously there are dangerous things. Even the shadowy guy from earlier didn't exactly seem like a ghostly cinnamon roll. But, like, really dangerous?
Yes.
If they're dangerous, why doesn't the agency do something about them? Can't they destroy things like this too?
It's not always that easy. Even if we could. You can't destroy something just because you don't like it or because it's dangerous. There are a lot of things like that in this world. Things that are dangerous to humans. They exist alongside us and sometimes existed before us. I don't think we have a right to say they shouldn't be here just because they're not like us.
I guess that's true. I never really thought of it like that before. I looked around at all the things drifting around, peeking around corners, floating through the cars. I mean, they were irritating because I could see them and I didn't want to. But William was right. They had as much a right to be here as I did. And they'd always been here, probably. It was just that now I could see them. You know, I've been wondering something. How come I can see all these things lurking around the city, but I couldn't see those two spirits at school?
Well, I don't know for sure. I think it's because there's an overlap between things we call spirits or ghosts and things we call fae. Many nature spirits are similar in some ways to fairies. If you think of each race as if it exists on a certain wavelength, it would be like you being able to see things that are closer to the fairy wavelength. But the ones at the school and some of the ones out here now have a very different wavelength, so you're still unable to perceive them.
So there are ones out here right now that I can't see. William's gaze went directly over one of my shoulders. I glanced back but saw nothing.
Yes. I think so.
That was a little spooky. William clenched his hands in his lap and looked down.
I think you should go home. The drifters and residents here are on edge right now. Something might happen.
Well, my mom is...
Can you call her?
I don't want to worry her, and I can't really explain a sudden need to go home.
I'll stay until she gets back, then.
You don't have to do that. I'm sure Gus...
All clear this way. Looks like that guy is still fine for now.
Is that your ghost hunting wrench? She just got so much cooler. She's walking around with this giant ghost wrench. Girl. Gus was coming back up the sidewalk, looking surprisingly relieved.
He still refuses to leave, though, the idiot. I swear you just can't reason with these guys. I'm thinking I might exorcise him from there to just get him out of here. Mom's still not back yet.
And my phone chirped right at that moment.
Finished? Where are you?
Well, looks like she actually is. I quickly texted her my location and pocketed my phone. Sorry to cause trouble for you guys.
It wasn't trouble. Well, it was a little, actually. But Will probably needed a break anyway, so it's fine.
Mom pulled up in her car, tapping her horn lightly as she waved. I hope everything works out.
Just worry about yourself, fairy girl.
That's why I didn't bug you earlier. I rolled my eyes at what was now apparently my official nickname. William shot me a hesitant smile as I waved and hopped in the car.